when I was first asked to give a talk in I still call it SPD section of the short course, I thought about, well, Houston really don't do that much design build or CDA project. We've just finished one on the Grand Parkway, which is a design build, working on the next two down the road, and we have one CDA project that is fixing to start construction. So I started thinking about how did we come to this point in time, trying to tie into the history of what TxDOT did. And I remember a long time ago, we have a lot of contractors that working on different projects, and they are kind of, usually it takes a long time to finish out the job at the end of the project. So what TxDOT we thought about is in the Houston district, we said, well, maybe we'll give the contractor a little bit of penalty. Give them a penalty, and then they can finish those jobs quicker and get it done on time. So we started what we call the milestone concept. You give the contractor incentive, and then that was how we did it. First job on 45 South at Beltway 8, which I work on. It was I think it was like $43,000 liquidated damages a day, bonus, incentive, and disincentive. So we got that done, and then the contractor came back and told us that, well, you just give us a penalty, you need to give us a bonus to give us a little bit of incentive to work harder to get the job done quicker. So that's what we did. That's how the concept of milestone started, with the incentive and disincentive. And the next job we work on, that Delvin worked on over here, the Pierce elevator, and it was up one on the 45 job that I work on. It was $53,000 a day liquidated damages. So it was $10,000 more than the old one. So from then onwards, then we get into the design build and the CDA, and the rest is, I think, it's history. We've got a lot of new concepts or different methods of developing and building project in a quick way. So I just want to go through quickly. We're going to talk about some of the projects in the Houston district. And the first question that I want to ask you all, what will the population of Texas be in the year 2050? Is it 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, or 50 million? Wow, we really got some very smart people over here. And the correct answer is, they predicted it's going to be 40 million in the year 2050. So this is a picture I pulled out in the old archive. That this is what the Gulf Freeway, if you're familiar in the Houston area, Gulf Freeway at Gulf Gate Mall over there, between 45 and where 35 come in together. If you take a look at that, there's actually virtually no freeway. You can call that a feeder road or frontage road back in those days. And the reason why we're building a lot of projects, building a lot of road, is if you take a look at this map actually shows the population growth in Texas. And you can see they're concentrating on what they call the triangle between Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and San Antonio. This is what they call the growth triangle. And what they're saying is there are about 1.3 million people moving to Texas between the year 2010 and 2013. And the population is going to continue to grow until the year 2050, which we predicted 40 million there. So there are a lot of people moving in, so we need a lot of roads. Or, they're also talking about alternative way of transportation. We can look into all that too, but we need more roads for sure. So this graph really just give a quick look at, in the year 2008, we have 60% of uncongested roadway in the state of Texas. And they predicted in the year 2035, there's only going to be about 43% of the roadway that's going to be uncongested. So we're showing that all our roads are getting more and more congested. And if you look at the severe congested roadway, I can't see that far. It went from about 13% to 28% in these years. And Houston is ranked number 6 as the most congested highways in the nation, and Dallas is number 13, and Austin is number 17. Give you a little bit of background of Houston District. Houston District, we plans, we design, build, operate, and maintain the state system in 6 different counties. And those are the 6 different counties. Harris County, the biggest, Montgomery, Galveston, Brazoria, Fort Bend, and Waller County. And there's about 6 million people in Houston, and it encompasses about 6,000 square miles. And out of the 6 million people, there's about 5 million people that owns registered vehicles in Houston. So this is, you're talking about a family, have kids, children, you know, a kid. Some of those can own vehicles, but 4 out of 5 people have a vehicle in Houston. And our current FTE in the Houston district is 1093. And we have 7 different area offices and 9 maintenance sections. And as you heard about it this morning, we are the one that operate the largest ferry system between Galveston and Bolivar Ferry. There's is a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week operations. And this graph, this slide, we just want to show you the typical letting volume in the Houston district. We typically let about 1 million in the year 2013. We let $1.3 billion worth of job. 2014, 1.1 billion. And 2015 is about 700 million. It's a little bit low. It's not because we don't have project that year. It's just that some of the projects did not get into the air conformity model. So it was kind of delayed a little bit and was let in the next year. So that's why 2016, the estimated was 1.4, but I think we actually led about $1.6 billion worth of work in Houston District. Okay, give you a little bit information about the current ongoing construction projects that we have, and some of them that just finished and open up. These pictures, I like these pictures because it shows you what the US 290 610 interchange looks like in the year 1964, when you barely have a full interchange. You might just have like a half an interchange right there. And the middle picture shows the same interchange in the year 2009 before we started the current construction that's ongoing out there. And in 2014, as you can see, there's a massive construction that's going on in that intersection. We are about probably 70% complete in that interchange. So I probably need to update my picture. This slide is a pretty busy slide. You know, don't try and read everything and look at everything over there. But I just want to show it because it shows the entire 290 program, corridor program, from 610 all the way to Back Hero, close to Hampstead area. There's actually a total of 13 different jobs. In this corridor is $1.1 billion that's under construction. Right now, we're currently looking at the 13 different projects are in different stages of construction right now. So we're predicting some of the project is going to finish in the year early 2017, and some of them is going to complete in 2018. Okay, I dug up another old pictures, and if somebody can guess, this is the interchange at Gulfgate, where you can see that first pictures that we saw a long time ago. This is the left picture is showing the Gulfgate Mall interchange, and this picture is where Gulf Freeway come up. This is continue on to the Pierce Elevator, and this is the split onto 59. Some of the connectors that go to 59. This is some of the old pictures that and you can see later on. I have some slides that show that we are going to tear up a section of this roadway and rebuild a big portion of this interchange over here. And we have a project over here. It's building the 2 missing direct connectors that we never built in this interchange at Gulfgate Mall area. Okay, on the Gulf Freeway project, we got 2 current projects that's ongoing further south, closer to the Clear Lake area. The first project is from like Bellway 8 to 2351, which is the first section. This one is about 60–70% complete. We anticipated, this is a little bit old, we anticipated to be finished probably summer of 2017. The next project, I think, is going to follow pretty close to the completion of summer 2017. The next project actually takes it from 2351 down to the Medical Center Drive. And these jobs are widening, total reconstruction projects, and we're widening them from 6 lanes to 10 main lanes. And we also widen the frontage road from 2 to 3 lanes. We're extending the HOV continuous down to where the project limits is. And we're about, these are a little bit old. We are much further along in the projects than that. Another project that we are working on is we are in Houston, we are trying to, well, actually in the whole state, we are trying to convert US 59 and make it a federally, and make it into the federal standard and call it I-69, essentially. And all the sections of US 59 in the Houston area has been upgraded, or we have projects, down here working between FM 7062 and Spur 10 to bring it up to meet all the federal requirements. What that means is we'll have full shoulders, 12-foot shoulders. We have is a divided highway, and we also have increased the speed limit, improved the degree of curve, and all that. This is a project. This is actually the first design build project we do in the Houston district. A segment F1, F2, and G on the Grand Parkway. This is from US 290 right here, all the way up to past 45 and to 59. You know, Exxon is building a big complex over here on I-45 North, and the Woodlands is a up-and-coming developing area in the Houston district. So this Grand Parkway is essential for people. Instead of just going down, up and down 45 into downtown, now they have an alternative route that takes them onto I-10, and we're getting a lot of compliments from the people that lives in the Woodlands and said that I can take the Grand Parkway and go to Katy and visit my grandkids. You know, it used to take me an hour and a half to drive that go down here 45 and go out on I-10 to Katy. Used to take me an hour and a half. Now it only takes me like 30, 40 minutes, the most, you know. So it's a big benefit that we're building. This is Zachary Odebrecht was the builder. It was a $1.04 billion project, and we completed it in about 2.5, 3 years time frame. The other project, this is State Highway 288. I want to talk about this. This is the first CDA project that we are actually building in the Houston district. You know, the project is from US 59 on 288, goes down to the county line, Harris County line, which is Clear Creek. And Brazoria County is actually going to build the project that goes from the county line, Clear Creek, down south to County Road 59 over there. So, and this is, we awarded this project to Blue Ridge Transportation Group. What basically the project is, we have existing main lane and frontage road in a lot of part of this 288 already. What this project does is build the 2-lane in each direction, a toll lane in the middle, in the wide median that we have in the 288 right-of-way. So there's very little right-of-way that needs to be bought on this project, and the project also built the complete interchange at 288 and Bellway 8, and also rebuild the existing interchange on 288 and 610 to provide the connection to the medical center. And taking the people, a lot of the people that lives in Pearland down here that works in the medical center, this will be their quick route into town to go to work every day. I'm going to go into some future major projects that we're going to do. And one of the major projects, this is a huge project that we are looking into doing on 45 north. We call it the 45 North Houston Highway Project. And I'll have a slide later on that shows that how we're going to break it up into different projects, because the entire project, we add up all the dollar amount of all the job, it costs about $6 billion. And every time I talk to the planner, the dollars went up to $7 billion, and then it goes up to $8 billion. So this will be a perfect project that all kinds of different types of project delivery method is going to be used on it. We're going to have certain projects, some projects that's going to be built by the traditional design bid build process. There's going to be some part of the projects that we might use design build on this also. And this project is separated into 3 different segments. The first one is the green segment that goes from Beltway 8 on the north side, goes to 610 North Loop over here. And the second segment, the purple section, goes from 610 down to I-10 and also rebuilt a part of the 610 interchange over there too. And the third one, which is the biggest portion, this is the loop. This is downtown Houston right here, where you have all the high rise. And this is where all the loops that comes down and go around 59 and 45. This is the PS elevator right there that we're going to be totally rebuild all the different sections of it. And when I talk about, there are 2 projects over here that we're going to start working on 59. These are going to be probably done as a typical design bid build type project that we're going in there to widen the freeway a little bit, redoing some of the bridges that's over there, so that the new depressed sections of the 45 and 59 can go through. I also went back and dig up some pictures, old pictures of Delvin's favorite bridge structures over here. This is part of the PS elevator that was built back in the 60s or 70s. And there's a Catholic church over there. And this is further along that same stretch of the roadway. And you can see that's the Catholic cathedral over there in Houston. That's right here. So this is when they were building the Pierce elevator back in those days. And then now we're talking about tearing down the Pierce elevator to rebuild this North Houston project. Okay, why are we rebuilding this section of the freeway? This slides really just show that a lot of the different sections along this corridor is in the top 35 most congested roadway in the state. So the segments 1 and 3 are in the top 10. This is the segment 1 and 3 are in the top 10. So that's one of the reasons if we rebuild a big portion of this, we're going to help solve a lot of the congestion problem in the Houston district. This is a typical section of the section, the first one that goes from Beltway 8 to 610. And you can see this is not very different from all the typical freeway structures that we're building. We have the max lane, 2 max lanes in the middle, and the max lanes can be an HOV lane, it can be a hot lane, it can be a transit lane, it can be a automatic car driving lane or Google car lane. You know, right now we haven't determined what those are going to be, but we have the room in there, put in there for whatever specialized type of function that we want it to be. The yellow part is the regular general purpose lane, the main lane of the freeway 45, and the green is the frontage road. We're increasing it from 2 to 3 lanes. And this is a slightly different cross-section, and what this cross-section shows is in the area between North Main and we have an area that we have cemetery on one side and old historic neighborhood on the other side, where we cannot go in and buy any more additional right-of-way. So the only way that we can accommodate all these lanes in the footprints that we have in that area is we're depressing the max lane and the Google, what I call the Google car lane, and the general purpose lane as a slightly depressed section, kind of like 59 right now, we have a depressed area, and then we have to hang the frontage road on top of the general purpose lane. And by doing so, we created what we call a potential green space area, which we could go in there if we have the cooperation of City of Houston or some stakeholders in downtown that's willing to put some money in it. And we're going to make that into a park, like what Dallas have done in some of the roadway over there. And these are some pictures of the Dallas park that what this area can potentially look like. And this is just a more detailed cross section of the same thing. Now this drawing is pretty interesting. It talks about how we can tear up the Pierce elevator. What we're thinking, this is existing 45 that goes up like that, and then 59 goes this way to I-10 or continue on to 59 like that. And during one of the public hearings, somebody said, we were trying to make this a double-decker or triple-decker or whatever we can do with the limited, there's high-rise buildings on either side of Pierce elevator. So we look at whichever way we can make it work. So somebody said, why don't you just follow the existing alignment that you already have and buy a little bit of right-of-way on the east side of downtown, which is not well developed yet. There's still some cheap right-of-way, relatively cheap, not cheap, but that we can purchase and put both 45 and 59 in the same footprint, and that's what we did. We come over here and put 45 and 59, and then we'll make a curve back to 45. The other thing that this project does, it provides a lot of operational type of improvement. You know, if somebody doesn't want to go downtown, they want to just go on continuously on going to 45 North, there are lanes in here, that will take you directly to 45 North without trying to mess with the entering and exiting traffic. So that way we're improving the speed in this area. The biggest advantage that we can see in this project is we think we're going to be able to increase the speed limit in this section in the entire project by 24 miles per hour. And this is probably the last slide. I'm going to stop right there. It's a very preliminary breakdown of how we want to get this downtown portion of the project built. With these couple of projects is the one on 59 that we said we're going to start from there. And then once we start building the depressed section, we pretty much have to keep going with the project. So in order to accomplish that, this is like 600 million or 800 million. This is like 100 million each of these pieces over here. And so we need to get the funding to be able to fund this part of the project and continues on to build the rest of it. So we have a big job coming. We're very excited about it. We're trying to get all the stakeholders involved, and we're ready to build this job.